A tooth removed, you've probably inhaled nitrous oxide. It's commonly known as laughing gas and for its pain-relieving powers. The gas, sold at convenience stores in small canisters as a food additive, is also being used as a recreational drug known as NANGs. The sensation from the canisters only lasts seconds, but side effects include nerve damage, brain injury and even death. Over the past 2 years, there's been a surge in nitrous oxide-related cases at Australian hospitals. Calls to the Poisons Information Hotline have doubled, and now the country's leading toxicologists say it's become a critical public health issue. This report from James Thomas.
This young woman struggles to walk because of nerve damage to her spinal cord. It happened after binging on a household product easily bought over the counter and online.
These small canisters are mostly used in food preparation, such as whipping cream or making other designer foams.
The canisters, which are filled with nitrous oxide, are also being used for something else.
All right, let's go.
Inhaling nitrous oxide canisters is sometimes known as doing nangs or nanging. Nangs are legal if you are buying them to whip cream.
At the moment, the perception would be that as these small cylinders are apparently legal, that possibly that means that they are safe, but that's not the case. These cases that are coming in with severe nerve injury, which can include brain injury.
They're so accessible right now. You can buy them online, you can get them delivered to your house at any time of the day, you can buy them from your local IGA, so they're accessible everywhere.
Uni student Megan Brandwood and her friends often do nangs at music festivals.
It goes really well with like electronic music and psytrance and stuff like that. It's sort of like a bit of an out-of-the-world experience. You sort of feel a bit disconnected from reality. But it's almost like the whole world around you is vibrating for 20 seconds.
Megan has come to a store specialising in kitchen catering supplies. She knows that they will stock the nitrous oxide canisters.
Hey, how you going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's
just
good.
those ones.
No worries. Have you got a trade card or an account with us?
No, I've never been here before.
Yeah, unfortunately with those we can't sell you.
Oh.
At the register, Megan's nang purchase comes to an abrupt halt.
Okay, why's that?
Just due to health reasons.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I guess that makes sense, hey.
Yeah.
Never happened before.
No
okay,
worries.
cool.
Thank you.
Bye.
The concern over what the canisters are being used for has prompted a crackdown at this shop. Before you started limiting the availability, were you getting people rocking up to buy a lot of canisters?
Yeah, I suppose, you know, around that sort of festival time, so your music festivals, things like that, you tend to have, you know, kids coming in or, you know, teenagers coming in for them. But as said, as a business, we've made a decision not to sell them because of that.
It is a dangerous drug to use in the long term and it should be stopped.
This Chinese student came to Australia to embrace campus life at a prestigious university. But away from class, she was introduced to nangs by her friends. Everyone was doing them, and it seemed harmless. But over time, she found herself doing up to 360 bulbs a week. Today, this is the result.
Okay, now try to stand and then close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Her doctor told 7:30 she may never fully recover.
All right, walk a little bit more, please. Open your eyes.
They have anemia, they have neurological damage, nerve damage, and psychological issues. And some of them are irreversible.
Dr. Betty Chan is the head of toxicology at Prince of Wales Hospital in Sydney. She has seen a significant rise in nitrous oxide patients under her care.
I'm very worried about it because The damage that nitrous oxide can do in long term can actually cause irreversible nerve damage. And young lives are at risk in terms of unable to walk. And that's a very alarming issue.
Hello, Poison Centre. How old is your child?
She tell you how much she took?
Okay.
We've had a doubling of the number of calls from hospitals about significantly affected people from nitrous oxide exposure, and those effects are severe nerve injury and sometimes brain injury. So this has been a real spike over the last 2 years.
As the head of the Poisons Information Centre, toxicologist Dr. Andrew Dawson says that recreational use of nitrous oxide is now a critical public health concern.
Very recently I had a 20-year-old patient whose brain appeared to have the same amount of damage as an alcoholic who'd been drinking for 40 years. So she had permanent neurological brain injury.
In France, this young woman died when a whipped cream dispenser exploded in her chest. In Australia, nitrous oxide was linked to the 2005 death of a patient at Blacktown Hospital. Between 2010 and 2015, a further 2 nitrous oxide deaths have been recorded by the National Coronial Information System.
Deaths are certainly reported within Australia from nitrous oxide. It's relatively rare compared to neurological injury, and those deaths can relate to from anything from the exploding of the small cylinders to people becoming hypoxic, that is short of oxygen from overuse.
The internet is awash with online distributors of NANGs. Some home deliver in bulk, day or night. In most jurisdictions in Australia, it is legal to sell nitrous oxide canisters for whipping cream. It is, however, an offence if you know the person buying intends to misuse it.
There's no doubt that the online outlets that are arranging delivery at 2 a.m. in the morning in cities are very clear that they know that this is all being used for abuse, even though they might go through the fantasy ritual of asking people if they're going to be baking cakes.
The Department of Fair Trading told the ABC it had been made aware of nitrous oxide being sold for recreational purposes and that it was working to assess the nature and extent of this issue.
I think we need to look at both limiting supply and increasing education in users.
I think in regards to that, people are still going to find a way. Access is not necessarily the problem because, I mean, there are a lot of drugs out there that have huge problems that are illegal and they're still prevalent. What should be happening is for all this research to be presented to us in a way that sort of comes from like, hey, this is a rising issue in our society and we want to help each other out and, you know, help protect each other.